lost his base. He was trying to reestablish his his third base, and that's why he won. He just had the better economy at the end.
Yeah,
Really nice.
definitely. Alright, let's jump into game number 2. This will be played on Acheron Wastes. The score is JayPower 0, Mouse Control Poyo 1. As unlikely as that may have sounded in the middle of the previous game, by the end of it we all knew what is going to happen.
Yep, and at the bottom right-hand side, we will have from UCAP's Esport. It is going to be the Red Protoss JayPower, one game, trailing against the guy starting at the left top. From mouse control, it is Poyo.
So, I've heard different opinions about this map from the Terrans. Some think that it's a decent map to play on versus others say that their games on this map versus Protoss almost never work out. That they don't know, but for some reason it's really hard to play versus Protoss on this map. What are your thoughts as a Terran player on this
If
discussion?
if you go pure bio, I find this map nearly impossible. Like it's really hard to play on this map if you just go bio. There's a few ways you can mix it up. You can do the MVP kind of build, like where you did with the bunkers and the siege tanks. That works really well on this map.
Mm.
But the best thing is just to spread out some widow mines as well, get some positioning. And the reason it's so hard is because of the middle of the map. There's like this huge gap, and that makes it almost impossible to really get a good concave, you know? Because you're
Mm.
gonna be either fighting on the high ground, which is clutched, or on the low ground, which is clutched. On the bright side, it's really easy to hold 3 bases as a Terran. It's absolutely
Maybe even
easy.
4 bases. I mean, if you go, the crack in the middle of the map, if you can get a huge concave in between your third and fourth bases. If you have your units in a line there and force engagements to happen there, that's almost unbreakable. There's a lot of room to kite. You get a huge concave, and you always get a better positioning versus a Protoss army that is coming from the choke. But yeah, it must be difficult to attack in the late game because of the same mechanic that this map is employing. So, as a turn player, what do you suggest? Maybe a lot of drops, maybe mech play.
Well, drops are pretty good. Like if you check the Protoss position, there's on the left side of his base, there's a huge open area. You can just keep the medevacs there and harass the third base potentially if he takes that, and harass the main. So that's really really good. On the top side, the natural expansion is hard to drop, but you can, like I said, you can put a few mines in front of the bases and really like kite back into those. So force him to engage into you, and the zealots will die to the mines, and the bio can just kite forward, because that's actually just outside of the natural. Is probably the best place for a Terran to get a concave. So I think as a Terran, you want to be aggressive on this map.
Okay. So basically, don't let the Protoss get ahead. And now this time
Never.
we see a difference in opening. While JayPower is doing practically the same thing he did in game number 1, not scouting, going to scout with his first 2 chrono boosted zealots. We see Poyo taking a gas and opening up with a Reaper, probably doing a factory follow-up off of this while getting his expansion up. Now the Reaper kind of was missed by both of the zealots. The Mothership Core is moving across the map again, but I really do think that at least this Stalker will be forced to stay behind and take care of the Reaper, so that he doesn't lose very many probes. And now with the wall-off up, those Zealots will not do much.
Nope.
Then again, there is a reactor on top, so
Perfect analysis by you there. He's gonna have to keep the Stalker in his base as long as the Reaper's alive. Now the Mothership Core can be annoying, but the Zealots are gonna be absolutely useless in this situation. So a really good opening from Poyo, because the Marines can just deny the Mothership Core from doing any damage because they're faster.
and he does have a reactor, so he can produce quite a lot of Marines in a very short amount of time because he's producing 2 at a time from the same structure. Now on the flip side, Poyo, I mean JayPower,
Oh,
his
really bad from JayPower. He pulled all of his probes, didn't kill the Reaper that already killed 2
uh,
of his workers. After that, he did manage to do it. Like he did the probe train twice, but lost a lot of mining time and then 2 probes as well.
oh. That's a minor setback for him. Now, meanwhile, JayPower is trying to scout with the Mothership Core, trying to protect it with the Zealots, but not getting any scouting done at all because all the buildings are built on the left side by Poyo. So JayPower really blind here. He doesn't know what is going on. Those Marines preventing scouting at all. Oh, now there's an opening. So he does go in, does see the factory, the starport, makes a correct read out of this, I'd imagine he should know that either Hellions or Widow Mines, most probably Widow Mines, are on the field already.
One scary thing to note though, that JayPower never really saw the expansion from PoYo, so he doesn't know if he expanded. Like, he knows that he has a starport, a factory, and a barracks, but that could mean anything, you know? That's like the 3 buildings you don't want to see as a Protoss. But if he has an expansion or not, he doesn't know for sure.
Oh, well, he could judge by the timings. You know, a Widow Mine drop usually hits you by 7:10 or 7:20, the latest. And look at this, the medevac is just coming out at 7:10. So, you know, these are the 30 or 40 seconds you lose by getting the expansion before all of those other buildings. So if JayPower knows his timings, he should know that an expansion is up. Does keep a Stalker in the center of the map, catches the drop, forces it to slow down, unload some of those mines a little bit. Interestingly enough, we do have an observer moving out on the map instead of staying with the main units, but we do have cannons being built. The natural is in peril though, because there is no detection yet, and that cannon will... Oh, there is one cannon, but I don't think it covers the whole mineral line.
It does cover this part though, and he also uses the overcharge on the Nexus, so he should be relatively safe. Looks like JayPower knows exactly what's going on, and very nice response. I would like to see more Protoss actually just throw down cannons. It's so good, Bell.
Yeah, it is. Actually, there is a build on Team Liquid where you open up with a gateway, an expansion, a forge, and a second gateway, and then you go robo. And you defend with... You're not aggressive, you only get sentries, like 4 or 5 of them, and you defend with cannons. If you see Widow Mines, you put cannons in your mineral lines. If you see a push, you put cannons in your on your ramp at the natural. And you're just being passive, and you can scout with hallucinations as well. So, but you can be broken. This can be broken by an all-in, obviously. Meanwhile, if you look at the Terran side of things, PoYo is doing quite well for him. He's up in food, greatly up in food, I have to say, despite doing almost 0 damage to his Protoss opponent, only killing 4 probes so far. But his army size is a little bit bigger, and he does have the economic advantage if we factor in the mules.
Yeah, he's killed 2 probes with the Reaper, 2 probes with one of the mines. Now on the other side, JayPower being a little bit greedy, he's opening a double forge, already getting double upgrades as well, chrono boosting them out. He actually saved his chrono boost to keep continuously chrono boosting those forges. And like we mentioned, he made the cannons, but that's also going to be a little bit of a dip in your economy, of course, because 3 cannons is the same as a Nexus. He's adding a lot of gateways now, and I'm expecting he's going to transition into High Templar soon.
He should take a 3rd base though, because if you're getting double forge, you're definitely showing your opponent or the casters in this case that you want to take this into a little bit of a longer game. Now, if PoYo decides to move out, which is exactly what he's doing, he can punish this play, because before the upgrades get into play, you have a timing that you can abuse. Well, not only before the upgrades are in play, but also before the additional gateways finish. So there are not enough reinforcements, and he's going for a double-pronged attack, trying to hit the natural base with a small force, and the main base with a double drop as well. This has been spotted. Will JayPower react accordingly? He needs to move only part of his army.
He's already done the fold and overcharge on the main Nexus straight away. He is warping in some units and moving some forces, well, most of his forces actually, but he's got 3 cannons at the natural. That's a lot, so these forces are going to crush into the cannons. It's going to save him a lot of time, and the Immortal also there to defend. He should snipe the Immortal, yep, doing that, but another overcharge going on that as well. Looks like JayPower is going to be okay, but he is losing... I think he's losing this game just by macro right now, because PoYo is also taking a 3rd base behind this. He will be able to kite this back with the Zealots and the army coming back, but PoYo will probably just lift off everything. There we go.
Yeah, he will, and he's continuing to drop the main base as well. That was the last photon overcharge, actually, that was available to the Protoss player. And, you know, I really like what PoYo is doing. He is maintaining 2 attack points at the same time, and forcing JayPower to be kind of everywhere at once. But the thing is, his +2 armor finished, and the Terran army is only on +1 attack, so just by warping in Zealots and with Zealot Sentry, he should be able to defend this just fine. Also, we have High Templars on the field. Oh, the feedbacks on all the medevacs. No healing for you guys. Immediately morphing that into an Archon. But yeah, with the +2
Why?
armor,
The
he's going
Immortal's
to
actually
be,
chasing. He's gonna lose that Immortal for free there. That's big.
yeah, that's a huge deal. And running out of gas a little bit here, JayPower. So, but like I said, with the +2 armor and Zealot Sentry, he should be able to defend this if his micro is on spot. But so far, it looks like it's not the best.
No, definitely not. He's being guided back. He's not doing that much damage. He should be killing this army, I feel like, but he's just not doing it.
Nice pickup there from PoYo, forcing the army to move out all the way to the middle of the map. And now he is going to drop the main base. I don't feel there are enough units to defend this, but he has to unload the rest of the medevacs. Meanwhile, JayPower going for the counter attack.
Yep, he's gonna go punch him in the face back, and there's an empty bunker, some idle SCVs, and not much going on there. So JayPower is gonna be in a really good spot aggressively. Photon Overcharge going down on the main nexus, killing a lot of these units actually. He's warping in everything there as well. But this could be really bad for PoYo because he's already lifting off the orbital command. Could lose some units there as well. He is making, however, an extra army in his main base.
Yeah, I don't think JayPower will be able to breach the main ramp. Meanwhile, the drop is still alive in his main, and you know, it's just warping in units one at a time. But I think the army has been diminished enough to force PoYo back. So PoYo not really getting done much there in the main. However, he has lost the mining of his natural. Very nice force field, allowing JayPower to retreat. And once again, the same as in the last game, if PoYo breaks out and he counterattacks straight up, I think he will kill the Protoss.
Well, it's gonna be a little bit different this time because there might be Storm. I'm not 100% sure because he is still researching it, but PoYo once again being very marine heavy. Could die to that very quickly, no ghosts underway yet. He's also lost the mining at his third base, so he's not mining anything right now. He's also flying the orbital command in a really awkward spot. I think that's a misclick. But I think JayPower is actually in a better position right now, well.
I think he is, and that's because the orbital command by mistake was added to the control group 1 of his army. That's why he was flying in a little bit of a weird direction. +2/+2 started for the Terran player. The Protoss is still on +2/+1, so does have a slight upgrade advantage. And you know, the storm is finishing up, and with good storms, if he hits those storms, there's no way that PoYo should be able to kill off his army right now. And JayPower in a really good position. He's hugely ahead on economy, but he's lacking a third base. Feedbacking instead of storming.
How good are the storms gonna be? That's decent. Nips away a little bit at the health of all that army. Now PoYo is alerted that there is storm. Ready and done. That's a really good storm right there.
That was a really good storm.
A lot.
But still, PoYo just baiting storms, not willing to engage until he is quite confident that there is not enough storms remaining.
He can't really engage. He's also clumping up a little bit. If he can get 1 or 2 really good storms, but this is going to be all gone. But PoYo's doing a decent job kiting, but the Zealots are also nipping away this army quite significantly.
Well, but the Zealots are all gone now. The army is damaged a little bit. Meanwhile, more Zealots being warped in at the third of PoYo, so his multitasking is being taxed to the max. He just has to avoid the Zealots and the storm, but as long as he's not killing those Archons, he's not killing those HTs, more and more Zealot reinforcements from JayPower should keep his push alive, and he should really, really, really take a third base.
Yep, he should take a third base right now. There is one Marine being a little bit annoying at the third base location for JayPower, but JayPower is also going to run in, snipe that Observer, it looks like. Yeah, no, he's not gonna.
Oh,
no,
the scan ran out. Now here's the thing. +2 will finish in about 50 seconds or 40 seconds. Once that is done for the Terran, these battles are going to go in a completely opposite direction. The Terran will start making good exchanges suddenly against the Protoss.
Oh,
nice storms going down. Oh, not dodging the storms quite as efficiently as he might have wanted to, but the Protoss is all out of storms, and this army should get cleaned up if he takes the entirety of his forces to do it.
Yeah, he is reinforcing with some Zealots, but there are some Hellbats on the field as well from PoYo right now. Gonna make short work of those Zealots if they're in a good position. Not if they're standing behind the Marauders, then they're not the best. But you can see they do a lot of damage to the Zealots even without upgrades. But still, it looks really, really hard though. PoYo's losing off his medevacs as well, Bell. He lost like 8.
He doesn't have any medevacs on the field right now, and his macro is slipping a little bit. He wasn't producing anything for the past 30 seconds, just now starting to produce units again. And well, he has to stay alive. All he's got to do right now is stay alive. Look how well the battles are going for him now that he has his own +2/+2. Just needs more medevacs, more meat shield, and he is going to win this game. And JayPower realizes this, losing the last bits of his army. He just GG's out of the game. So PoYo winning 2-0 over UCAP JayPower in a narrow series.